Welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Budapest. I hope everybody is having a good week. Hi Jainil, hi Millen, hi PreTJ. Good to see everyone in the class. This is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to watch, lots to learn. If you'd like to become a member of our channel, just click the join button besides the subscribe button. If you don't see it there, you can send me an email. I'll share my email address in just a moment. In this class, we are looking at IELTS Task 2 writing, and we're looking to write an essay that scores band 9. And of course, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic English help. Please visit us there. For general IELTS help, visit us at IELTShelp.com. On both of our channels, we have lots and lots of help for you for the writing, including professional editing services, as well as, of course, videos for all sections of the IELTS, original practice exams, and a fully interactive course. Hi, Rajveer. Hi, PreTJ. Good to see you in the class as well. You can get our apps, Academic IELTS Help, link it to aehelp.com. And General IELTS Help app will link to gieltshelp.com for a truly amazing integrated IELTS learning experience. Hi, Ois. This is our academic IELTS web portal here. You can click that big red button to join the premium package, get our HD videos. And for the general IELTS, it's the green background. You can click that here. Anybody who joins these websites and actually uses our materials for a few hours a day for at least 4 weeks before the exam reports gaining at least a band score on their IELTS exam. So definitely a wise investment. If you have questions about how to join our YouTube channel or anything about our products or the IELTS, just send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I will gladly answer your questions as quickly as possible. So today we have task 2 for you, and then in about 90 minutes we will have a reading class where everybody can join in. That will be a nice new passage for us to go over. All right. Beck John says, yes, I watch writing task 2 videos. Nice, Beck John. And your writing has really improved, Beck John. It's definitely up to the college university standard now at the native English speaking level. So that's nice to see, Beck John. Good work on those essays that you sent for scoring. So excellent. Keep that up. All right, everyone. So let's get into today's question. Here it is. So in the writing section of the IELTS, you have 2 tasks. Task 1 is very unique for academic and for general IELTS. For academic, it's some kind of a chart or graph. For the general, it's some type of a letter response or a letter writing, an email. And then you spend 20 minutes on that. Don't go over 20 minutes. Leave 40 minutes for task 2. Task 2 is worth twice as much as task 1. Task 1 is a good warm-up to task 2. Task 2, you have to do more thinking than in task 1. So you have to do a bit of thinking in task 1 also, but task 2 definitely involves more thinking and more writing. In a lot of Western schools in the US, Canada, UK, essay writing is a big part of the education system. It's a big part of the curricula, and it is expected that everybody knows how to write good essays, especially persuasive or argumentative essays, by the time they get to college or university. That's why it's so important that you not only learn the English language for these, like vocabulary and grammar, but also correct structure, correct type of thinking. So we'll do that today, members. Let's take a careful look at this question. Read it carefully. It's often a good idea to read the question twice, just so that you really make sure that you understand what's going on. Here we go. So task 2, read with me. Some people think that it is necessary to travel abroad to learn about other countries, but other people think that it is not necessary to travel abroad because all the information can be seen on TV and on the internet. Discuss both opinions and give your own opinion. write at least 250 words. So you have to discuss both sides and provide your own opinion. So we have to make sure to structure our essay and our ideas accordingly. Okay, so here we go. We've read the question. What's the topic of this question? So what are we talking about? Okay, what are we actually talking about here? So what's the topic? And when you identify the topic, you need to think about it like, what are we talking about? What am I writing about? And it's good to ask this with your classmates or with your study partners and see if you come up with the same answer. If it's not the same answer, you have to figure out why. Okay, so Romain says it's learning about other countries or learning about other countries or other cultures, right? Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're talking about. So we're talking about learning about other countries. That's what we're discussing. And what's the controlling idea? Okay, so the controlling idea is more specifically what we want to know about the topic. Okay, so the way you can think again about the topic is, what am I discussing? So this is the question here. And then the question for the controlling idea is specifically, what do I discuss about the topic? Okay, so that's how you identify these accurately. So Rajveer says the controlling idea, is it good to travel or to learn about from the internet and TV? Okay, so Rajveer, I think you could phrase that a little bit better. So is it good to learn through experiencing firsthand or through indirect internet and television, right? So always try to be really clear when you're identifying the controlling idea. Beckjan says, is it necessary to go abroad to learn or just through the internet and TV? Yeah, absolutely. So is it important to travel to the country to learn about it, or is learning through the internet and TV sufficient? Okay, so that's the controlling idea. All right. Now, then we want to figure out what we're talking about here. And this is a great question. One of our students sent us a practice essay in regards to this question. And I thought to myself, hey, this is a great question. It's a thinking question, and it's a good one for everyone to understand how you approach planning and developing the right essay and the right structure for this. So let's do that now. Okay, so I'm happy to see that many of our members are figuring out what the topic and what the controlling idea is accurately, okay? That's the key. You should never, ever start an essay before you are 100% sure that you have the right topic and the controlling idea. So for all of the students who are going abroad to university, if you're planning to study in the US or Canada, and you're in your university class and you have an essay assignment, which is almost guaranteed, no matter what class or what major you're taking. When you get that essay assignment and you get that essay question, identify the topic or the topics, okay? And university essays, they can be much longer. They can have multiple topics. So identify the topic or the topics, the controlling ideas. And if you're not sure what's going on, talk to the professor, okay? Talk to another student. Make sure you figure it out. Otherwise, you're going to invest a lot of time and you're not going to get a good grade or even fail. So be really careful, okay? So that's just a tip for the future. Of course, one of the important points that we pay attention to in our lessons at ahelp.com and gieltshelp.com is we're not just helping you to get a good score on the IELTS, but we're also helping you to be successful in your next step in studying and in immigration, and that's really important, okay? All right, so here we have to figure out what, why, how for the topic and the controlling idea. And Beckjan has that first question for us. So Beckjan says, well, the first question I should think about here is, what does it mean to learn about other countries? Okay, and so what does that mean? So what does it mean to learn about other countries? How would you define that in a clear way and concise? Okay, concise means in a as shortest possible way. So you always want to think clearly, completely, and concisely. Okay, that's your goal. Clear, concise, complete. Always focus on that. Okay, it's very important. Okay. Always strive to be clear, complete, and concise with your thinking. Okay, it's really important to continually practice that so you maximize your time, maximize your scores on the IELTS and in the future. Okay, so Janil says that learning about another country means learning the culture, the language, the environment. So learning the culture, language, environment, surroundings, right? All right. PreTJ says the food as well, the history. All right. Okay. Great. Fantastic. All right. So why would we want to do that? Okay, let's ask that. So why learn about another country? So why would a person want to do that? What's the benefit of learning about another country? Rajveer says learning about the industry, the business. Yeah, it's part of the culture, but why not expand? Sure, Rajveer, I'll add that. Those are some good ideas. So industries, business, absolutely. And why would we want to do that? So Saudi Arabia and many other countries have big scholarships for their young learners to go abroad to university to study there. What do you think is the logic? So why would governments support their youth to go learn abroad? There must be a reason, otherwise they wouldn't spend billions of dollars to support that. So why would they do that? Okay, so Ferdovs says to be tolerant, so to learn tolerance and acceptance of others. Sure, yeah, we definitely become more open-minded by that. Rajveer says possibilities in education, immigration, and business. And living, let's call it that. Okay, Abhishek says it has an influence on the person's views, values, loyalties, fears. Yeah. Okay. And I would just simply say to enrich our lives, to gain broader global experience and enrich a person's life, right? So all of those happen. All right. Now, the question here of how do we do it, right, is being answered by the task 2. So how can this be achieved? So how can this be achieved? And it's in the question here, right? So to go and live in a foreign country and to learn about it through information online and elsewhere. Sure. Okay, and so Now, here, the next step, of course, is to deeply think about the controlling idea. Okay? So we want to ask what, why, how about the internet and online learning a country. Okay, so here if we say what is learning about a country through the internet and TV. Okay, give me a good answer for this one. So think about it. It might seem really simple at first, but what is it? Okay, so what is the act of learning about another country through the visual and written and audio material that's available to us through the internet? So what does that mean for the learner? Okay, so here the person, the student, what does it mean to learn about another country, a foreign country, through the internet and TV? What does that mean? Okay, and here you can start to think about the difference between living in that country and learning about that country without going there and just looking at videos, movies, reading books about it. Okay, so Ferdov says it's almost free. I don't know about that, Ferdovs, and that's more about the why than the what, Ferdovs. It's more about the why than the what. So why would we do it? Because it's cheaper, right? For Dobbs, it's not really answering the what question. So make sure for Dobbs that you're thinking about the what. So Rajveer says it's an act of searching information about a country on the World Wide Web and experiences shared by people. Okay, Rajveer, I think you're it's a good answer. You're very, very clear, and there's a little bit more I would add to that, but that's very good. OS says it's a process available in most homes without traveling to the country. Sure, OS, but what is it truly? So PreTJ says we don't actually experience it, we only visualize it. All right, PreTJ, I think you're close as well. Okay. So yeah, it's to search and gather. We could call this second-hand or indirect information through available sources, right? So really what we're doing when we're learning about another country through the internet, through television, is we're gathering information that somebody else has produced. So if it's a travel show, then you have some actors, you have some TV show hosts that go to that country. They have a set schedule. They need to go to ABC, talk about it, explain it, and then they relay that information. They send that information to you, right? So what is learning about another country through the internet? Means learning about another country through the experiences of other people, right? That's what's really important here. Is everybody seeing that now? Okay, does everybody clearly understand that important distinction? Okay, and then why would a person choose to do this instead of traveling there? Well, because it's cheaper, it's a bit easier, it's cheaper, okay, which is true, all right? And how do we do it? By looking at travel shows, documentary series, searching online for different keywords. Okay, so that's how we do it. Okay. All right, so what is actually going to the country and learning the culture that way? Now that should be easy, right? So Beck John says through movies, yeah. So now the other side of the controlling idea. So what is traveling to another country and learning about it by living there? Okay. When you're practicing this at home, Welcome back, Samuel. When you're practicing this at home, you definitely want to write out each of these questions and answer them, and then share these with your classmates, with fellow students, and check to see if you have consensus. Consensus means agreement, okay? It's very important that you do, because if you don't, it means that somebody might have the wrong idea. And you don't want to write an essay that has the wrong ideas. If you write an essay for the IELTS that doesn't have very good ideas, it's impossible to get a band 9, okay? Because coherence, which means the quality of your communication, they're measuring that, okay? If you write an essay for the IELTS that has really good ideas, but you have some grammar mistakes or some spelling mistakes, you can still get a decent score. You can still get a 7 if it's a very coherent essay, okay? So one of the fastest ways to improve your IELTS writing band score is to write with good information, okay? Then when you do that with good English, you get those band 9s, all right? Okay, so Beckjohn says to visit other nations and familiarize themselves with local traditions. Okay, Ferdov says purchasing a package tour, booking an apartment to live and investigate the foreign country. Samuel says real life experience and learning from the locals. Yeah, I'll teach you a couple of words here maybe as well. It means to travel to the country and immerse oneself in the culture and learn firsthand. Okay? Or I can say through firsthand experience. Notice something interesting, that second hand is written as 2 words with a hyphen. First hand is actually 1 word. Okay? And immerse means that you actually sink into the culture. Okay? If you immerse yourself in water, it means that you sink into the water and the water covers you completely. Okay? In Canada, we have, of course, 2 official languages, French and English. And those students who go to schools where they teach only in French, we have those in all parts of Canada. So when you live in Canada, you can choose to go to an English-speaking school, or you can go and join a French-speaking school, all the way from kindergarten, okay? And those schools in Canada are called French Immersion schools, okay? So this is a bit of knowledge for some of you, and also helping you to remember this nice word immerse or immersion, okay? There's different forms. There's verb form, noun form, so keep that in mind, okay? So you immerse yourself in the culture. All right, so why would a person want to do that? So why would a person go to another country to live there and immerse themselves in the culture? So why choose this path, okay? Why would a person choose this path? Yeah, papsdo. Immersion is used in baptizing, but it's also used in a lot of other contexts. It's not just used in baptizing. Immersion is actually a commonly used word in English, okay? We immerse ourselves in activities and lots of other cases. All right. Abhishek says we can only observe television or sources while we visit overseas. We can participate in festivals and culture. Okay. We have got English immersion schools, says Natalie. Yeah, there are English immersion schools in many parts of the world. In Europe here, there are lots of German immersion schools as well. Okay. Jainil, very nice. So Jainil says we get more of a feeling through traveling. Okay. Ferdov says because it's an outstanding experience. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Pubsdo, absolutely share, okay? That's why you're here. You're a member, share, okay? Andy says to experience it directly. Yeah? Okay, so to have complete 24-hour multiple sensory integration with the country. Okay, so I'm being very technical here with you, but it is good to develop this kind of technical thinking. I know it sounds robotic and it's cold and calculative, but you want to be able to do that for professional and academic communication and writing. It's to have 24-hour multiple sensory integration with the country. Does that make sense? Does everybody get what that sentence means? It basically means I'm in that country from start to finish. Even when I'm sleeping, I'm still sensing that country, because if the ambulance goes past my window, it has a different sound. Okay, every country I've visited, the ambulances all sound different. The fire trucks all sound different. So it's true even while you're sleeping, you're experiencing that country. And multiple sensory integration means that you're constantly smelling that country, you're tasting that country, you're seeing that country, you're hearing that country, and you're feeling that country, right? So always visualize, be there. Okay, and I can see Millen, Natalie, for Dobbs, Andy says, yeah, no, I get that now, I get that. Okay, now we're going to get to deciding our thesis here in a moment. That's, of course, our next step. It's very important. But before we do that, I mentioned a really interesting ancient wisdom to students, I think in the last week's classes. And I'm wondering if anybody remembers that. I believe it comes from Tao, if I'm not mistaken. And it's I'm not sure if it goes exactly like this, but this is how I remember it. It goes something like this: when I listen, I forget. Okay, so when I listen, I forget. Does anybody remember what the next part of that was? So there's 3 parts to this. The first one was when I listen, I forget. The next one started with when I also. Does anybody remember how that goes? Yeah, Millen, very good. So Millen says, when I see, I understand. Yeah, it is a Chinese proverb, Preeti. So when I see, I understand. It's ancient, and I think it's wise. And what was, yeah, that's right, Rajveer. When I see, I understand. Millen got the full go there, so Millen, good for paying attention. And what was the next one? It's not when I speak, Abhishek. It's not when I speak. Yeah, there you go, Millen. Very good. Millen remembered it. Good for you, Millen. Yeah. Yeah, you got it, Millen. All right, so Millen says, when I do, I learn. All right? And I think most of us can agree with this, right? So most of us can agree that when we listen to information, it's much easier for us to forget that information. When we also tend to see it, we go, okay, I get it. That's why YouTube is such a popular platform, and it tends to be more popular than podcasts because you're actually seeing as well. And now these live classes where you're joining me for these types of learning are even more effective because you're doing, right? So you're learning, and that's the key, right? So humans learn by doing. Okay, and I think that's a really smart wisdom to remember for this when we're deciding on our thesis. So now we have lots and lots of good information. We are definitely ready to write this essay and this introductory paragraph for this class. So I don't want to give you too many hints this time. How about just you write the thesis? I'll give you a little bit of a head start, and then we'll see what kind of a thesis everybody comes up with, okay? By the way, don't use proverbs and sayings in your IELTS exam. They don't look good because they're not original, okay? So this is just for you. Please do not start your essay this way. Okay, so the thesis, for everybody who's new to that, it is the last sentence of the introduction of your introductory paragraph, which introduces, shows, or I should say that shows, or that states your points of discussion and your position. Okay, so that's what the thesis is. Okay, the thesis is the most important part of your essay. It's the last, usually one, sometimes two sentences of your introductory paragraph, and it clearly introduces to your reader and states your points for discussion and your position on the essay. Okay, so think about what we discussed so far in our planning. Think about the topic, controlling idea, and of course, remember the original question. So some people think that it is necessary to travel abroad to learn about other countries, but other people think that it is not necessary to travel abroad because all the information can be seen on TV and on the internet. Discuss both opinions and give your own opinion. Okay, so give me a nice thesis for this. I'm going to do the same. Try not to take a peek at mine, so try to think about yours. And then we'll compare. Okay, you've got a bit of a head start. Hopefully, some of you are already writing. Okay. All right. So get that thesis statement out there. Let's see it. Samuel says, while some believe learning a nation's culture through the TV and internet is better, as it is cheaper and convenient, I strongly agree that getting a first-hand experience is essential to the culture and traditions. Yeah, Samuel, I would say culture and language, because culture and traditions is kind of the same. So culture, language. Language is a part of culture, arguably as well, Samuel, but it's a little bit more distinct than traditions. Culture and traditions is a bit of repetition. Otherwise, it's a really nice thesis, Samuel. I think you're on the right track for a high band essay. Okay. All right. Millen says, although the availability of information has made it easier to learn about a country, personally visiting a nation has its own beautiful experience. Okay, Millen, I think you can work with that. No apostrophe with the it's, because it's not it is own beautiful experience, but it's just its own beautiful experience. So no apostrophe, okay? Just ITS. Be careful with that, Millen. That's considered a grammatical mistake as well as a spelling mistake. So writing it with apostrophe S wrong is two mistakes. It's a spelling mistake and a grammar mistake. So careful with that, Millen, okay? Ois says, our world has become a small village today that it is interesting to travel to other countries to learn. On the other hand, people can learn from their homes by the internet or TV and save money and energy. Ois, I think you've got the wrong approach here, okay? Simply because I don't see your opinion. The task 2 here is asking for that, Ois. So Ois, be really careful with the question, okay? Give your own opinion. From that thesis statement, I have no idea what your own opinion is. In fact, I don't even see it there. That's one. The other Ois is here, arguably, we can learn more about a country by actually going there. So it's really, really hard to make a good argument for learning about a country from home, okay? As an academic, I would say that there's no way you could convince me that you can learn as much about a country by watching it on TV and through the internet as you can by going there. So I would not take that impossible argument for this essay. Okay, I think you're going to give yourself a really difficult 40 minutes in the real exam. So be careful with that. Okay. All right. Ferdovs says, although certain individuals deem that gaining and learning information about other nations through the internet and TV is possible, I completely believe that it's better to do it firsthand by living there. Okay, Ferdovs, good ideas. Few grammatical mistakes. Pay attention to those corrections. Okay, make sure you have complete ideas. So complete your ideas. All right. Rajveer says, although certain individuals feel that learning about a foreign country is easier and cheaper through the internet and TV, others, including myself, ascertain that people immerse with culture and language greatly through first-hand experience. Very good. Okay, very nice, Rajveer. That works. Okay, that's a Band 9 thesis. So if anybody wants to have a look at a Band 9 thesis, have a look at Rajveer's. Read it. It's got clear grammar, perfect punctuation, very clear ideas. When I read Rajveer's thesis, I can tell right away that I'm going to read one body paragraph about people who support the idea of learning about countries through the TV and the internet because they save money and it's convenient. And then I know I'm going to read another body paragraph about Rajveer's opinion, which is that it's actually better to go there because a person can get much more through first-hand experience of culture and language. So very, very clear where Rajveer is going with the essay, and it's perfectly constructed. Good job, Rajveer. Okay, Abhishek says, even though certain people say that to see television and internet we can acquire essential information about foreign countries by documentary seasons and travel shows, overall, I believe with other individuals, it's necessary to travel abroad to gain knowledge about foreign lands through participating in their native festivals and trying local cuisines. Okay, Abhishek. Too much information, all right? You have some really good ideas there, Abhishek, but I think you've got too much going on for a thesis. You want to keep your thesis relatively simple and concise, Abhishek. I think that you're including a lot of information in your thesis which actually belongs in your body paragraphs. Okay, so going into details about documentary TVs, going into details about participating in festivals and cuisines, I think that that belongs in your body paragraph explanations and then examples. Okay, so you've got good ideas, Abhishek. You're just putting them in the wrong place. Keep your thesis much simpler. Okay. All right. Andy says, the way to learn about other cultures is debatable. Some individuals think that going overseas is the best way to know other countries, but other things that learning through the internet and TV is. Andy, that is considered a weak introduction. Okay, it's not really even a thesis because I don't see any argument there. I don't see your side of the argument. So that kind of writing, Andy, unfortunately, too many IELTS students do it. Even with perfect English, you likely wouldn't get more than a band 6.5 for the whole essay. If you make a few grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes, you'll immediately drop to 5.5. The examiners do not consider that original writing and will not give it high marks. They do not clearly see a position. Furthermore, Andy, if you write like that in your college or university classes, you will fail your essay. I'm just going to be blunt about that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You will actually fail the essay. The professor will say this is not your writing or this is not expressing your ideas. Either rewrite the work or you take a failing mark. Okay, and they're going to be nice by letting you rewrite it. So some professors don't take the time. So just be careful. It's just an FYI, and it's the cold, hard truth, okay? You cannot easily get high marks on the IELTS by following templates that you read online or that you learn from some schools. It doesn't work like that, okay? It's not an ESL test, it's an English proficiency exam. You have to be original. Okay, Andy? All right, Beckjohn says, many individuals think that in the modern world there is no need to go to a foreign country to learn about it because all the information can be found easily and cheaply. Semicolon, however, comma, other individuals believe that it is better to visit, thereby immersing oneself into foreign culture. Personally, I support the latter as a unique sentence. Beckjohn, that's a Band 9 thesis, okay? So if you'd like to see a couple of examples of a Band 9 thesis, take a look at Beckjohn's, take a look at Rajveer's. Those would be considered high-level academic writing using clear English, okay? In both cases, we see where the essay is going, and we have some great lexical resource, good structure, and so on, okay? So learn from each other. Well done. Okay, so students, let's keep going here. PreTJ, Janil, those are looking good as well. I have to keep going here so we can get through the introduction. This is my thesis here so far. Okay. I kept it a little bit simpler, although much information can be acquired through indirect sources online and on TV. I believe that immersing oneself in another country's culture, let's do a little fix there. In another country's, let's show possessive there, in another country's culture is better for deep learning of the culture and language. Okay? All right, and I have a bit of repetition there, so I'm going to take that out. There, even simpler. So, I believe that immersing oneself in another country is better for deep learning of the culture and language. All right, so I'm going to keep mine simple like that. Okay? All right, good. So, let's keep going. And let's start our introductory paragraph. So, introductory paragraph. The introductory paragraph should have 3 parts: hook plus background plus thesis, which we already have. Okay? You should have your thesis before your hook and background. Okay, here we go. Let's come up with the hook. So the hook, don't overcomplicate it, okay? The hook is simply an interesting fact containing the topic that's relevant to the question, okay? So remember, the topic is learning about other countries, okay? So that's our topic. Here it is. So topic, learning about other countries. So think about this, use this, okay? Don't get too creative, don't paraphrase a ton. Just use this and create a short, simple, interesting fact learning about other countries that will catch your reader's attention. That's your hook. Okay? Samuel says, the beauty of culture rides on the experience. Little bit opinionated, Samuel. So I think it's a bit abstract. It's a bit opinionated. It's not bad, Samuel. So in all honesty, I don't think it's all that bad. But for the IELTS, I would keep it more direct and more simple, okay, or simpler. Beckjohn says there are various ways to gain knowledge about other countries. Yeah, that's simple, that's direct. There are various ways to gain knowledge about other countries. Sure, that's what we're about to discuss in this essay. Why not start with that? Okay. Rajveer says learning about other countries has become trendy these days. Yeah, I agree, Rajveer, especially in the past couple generations. Learning about other countries has become very popular. Yeah, people used to be more local. They used to be more focused on their own country and their own nation's kind of workings, but these days we're much more global, right? Samuel says the beauty of it's the same, Samuel, so maybe rethink it. Ferdov says learning about other nations is always curious. Yeah, for Dobbs, you have a good idea, but just make sure the grammar's good. So many people are curious to learn about other countries. That's a really good one for Dobbs. Just fix your grammar, right? So curiosity is definitely a good way to catch your reader's attention. So many people are curious to learn about other countries. Yeah, that's a very simple, elegant, and beautiful hook. Does everybody agree with me on that? Or is it just me and Ferdovs? That if you read this, like let's say you're reading a magazine article or something online, and you read this as the first sentence, many people are curious to learn about other countries. You kind of get curious yourself. You're kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of curious. What is this person going to say next? Right? So that's how, when you start to get really good at your writing and communication, one way you can test how efficient and effective it is you can think, okay, if I read this in a Facebook post or somewhere, would I continue reading? Would it catch me, right? The word curious is a nice one because humans are curious creatures, right? We have sayings like curiosity killed the cat. So yeah, okay. Romaine says, living glocal has become trendy these days. Romaine, it's not bad, but glocal, you might have to explain it. Like I can get what it means, but I'm actually not familiar with it. So careful with being too tricky, Romaine, or too unique as well, okay? You want to be original, but you want to also be clear and concise. For the IELTS, okay? For university, for college, Romaine, yeah, experiment. You can use those kinds of more pop culture type expressions, but in the IELTS, I would keep it more professional just so that you get that mark, because in the IELTS, really your goal is to get that high band score, right? Millen says, learning about various countries tends to be on the rise these days. Yeah, Millen, that works as well. Okay, it's good. All right, so that's our hook. Now we go to the background. The background is definitions. Okay, so this is the hook. And now we go to the background. The background, I'm just going to call it BG, has the definitions and importance. And we have that, okay? So don't reinvent the wheel. You already have that. This is why we do all that planning, because when you plan, you can quickly and accurately execute. And we have all of this definition and the importance in the planning, right? So why learn about another country? It means we learn tolerance, acceptance. So there's the importance, right? And what does it mean to learn about other countries? Learning the culture, the language, the food, the history, the industry, the business. So it's already there. So just use it. You have it in your head, so you just need to type it in the computer-based or write it down in the paper-based. It shouldn't be that difficult. So when you have good planning, you have this in your pocket. You just need to put it into a sentence. Okay? So Ferdov says individuals have been learning about other nations through the internet, TV, and traveling. We have that, Ferdovs, in our thesis, so we don't need to mention that in the background. We can just get right into it. So All right. So there's my background. Let's see what you come up with. Okay. Beck says, whether it's for study purposes, immigration, or tourism, every individual wants to learn about other nations' cultures, landscape, and history. Very nice, Beck. So you've combined the definition and the importance into one sentence. That's really nice writing. And for the IELTS, where you have to write minimum 250 words, closer to 300, that's a really good way to do it, okay, being that concise. So that's really nice, Beck. I think, Beck, if you grab your hook, your background, and your thesis together, you're on your way to a band 9, so good job, okay? Millen says, a fair amount of people believe in learning about a country's culture, language, food, and economy through the TV and the internet. Yeah, Millen, don't get your thesis involved yet into the background, okay? So here I have, in order to understand foreign nations, a person needs to learn their culture, language, history, economy, and geography. In this way, people not only enrich their lives and broaden their values and tolerance, but also create more opportunities for business and entertainment, okay? So there's my definition and importance, okay? Now, all I need to do is grab my thesis, stick it in the end, and then away I go. I have my complete introduction, okay? So there's my introductory paragraph. It's definitely at that band 8, 5, band 9 level, and I'm good to go, okay? So here we go. This is my introduction. I'll take a look at a couple more after, okay? But just read mine and see if that makes sense for this question, okay? Many people are curious to learn about other countries. In order to understand foreign nations, a person needs to learn their culture, language, history, economy, and geography. In this way, people not only enrich their lives and broaden their values and tolerance, but also create more opportunities for business and entertainment. Although much information can be acquired through indirect sources online and on TV, I believe that immersing oneself in another country is better for deep learning of the culture and language, okay? And here, I might even take out culture and language because I have that in my background, so I don't want redundancy. I can just say for deep learning, okay? And that's enough, okay? So there's my introduction. It's clear that my body paragraph 1 in this case will deal with the other side, which is learning through TV and the internet. And then the second body paragraph will deal with first-hand experience. Okay? All right, PreTJ says traveling abroad gives more opportunities in business, education, and understanding the different language, history, food. So people adapt easily and broaden their knowledge and skills. PreTJ, not bad. I think you have a little overlap with your thesis as well. So did I. Notice that, right? Okay. Okay, everyone, that's our introduction. Tomorrow, as you know it, we will complete the essay with body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and the conclusion. So we get to see that full band 9 essay. Great work today, everyone. I was really happy to see how you were able to plan the essay accurately with questions and responses. For all of our viewers, you can watch lots of HD Task 1, Task 2 videos on our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS, so check us out there. Stay tuned, everyone. We have a reading class coming up, a reading passage for everyone. Everybody will be able to join the chat, not just members. Members, you did a great job today. I'm very, very proud of you. Keep it up. Not only will you get a great band score on the IELTS, but you'll also do really well in school and in other parts of life. So keep going forward. Thank you so much. Hopefully I will see you in half an hour. I'm Adrian, signing out for now from Budapest. See you soon.